Before we get started with the video, I want to thank the viewers for clicking on this video. I know Piccolo is a very popular character, but not as popular as the other characters, and he had been lost in the mist somewhere because of this terrible story writing on his behalf. There were some very interesting deaths, especially in Dragon Ball Super. I mean, it was such bad deaths, losing to the bug and getting devastated like that versus Frost in the Tournament of Power. There's some deaths out there in Dragon Ball Super that made him like a terrible character. He even got beaten by chopsticks by Lord Beerus, and it really destroyed his character of being a real threat. He's actually, when he was getting killed like that so easily, and his abilities are like nothing anymore, his super hearing is even his Lord Slugs turning himself into a giant. Piccolo has that, is a Namekian thing. I can't remember a time that actually Piccolo used that since Dragon Ball in the tournament, in the martial arts tournament versus Goku that time. I can't remember any time during Dragon Ball Z came up with that. But if you want to talk about a character, his development as a character is so good, and that's why I like Piccolo. There's two characters in Dragon Ball I like the most, and those are my favorites, Vegeta and Piccolo. Those two characters have the most in common with a lot of fans in the Dragon Ball community, and that's why they get so much love. They don't have the much as resources as the Gokus and the Gohans and the Trunks. They do not have that much resources, and Piccolo is a great teacher. He went from bad to good. He got spit out from an egg from King Piccolo and was destined to kill Goku, and all of a sudden they had to work together versus Raditz. And him being a mentor to Gohan when his dad got killed by Piccolo's special beam cannon. And then after Gohan, he actually was training with Goku, still training Gohan, helping Goku, and actually Goku helping Piccolo. Then he went to Trunks and Goten, and he taught him how to do the fusion of becoming one of the most fun and most entertaining characters of a fusion is Gotenks. And now he's training Pan. But the sad truth about Piccolo is he will never be a main character in Dragon Ball ever again, but being basically a Z fighter, the second backup singer. He's being a backup singer and second fiddle to Vegeta and Goku, and he's basically another TN and Krillin standby. And it really sucks. It really sucks because he has such good techniques. He's that character that is very unique. You don't have the advantages of being one of the most powerful races in the Dragon Ball universe, but he is one of the most skilled and the most techniques. You want to talk about a character that has good techniques. I mean, he is so technical. He came up with a special beam cannon. I mean, he is really good at techniques. He is so precise on techniques. But along the way, he got lost in the mist and the shadows of nowhere because he has not been written as an important character. I mean, he's a jobber. He's basically a jobber. He's getting defeated easily, and he's easily forgotten about within the story. He has been lost in the story for a long time since the end of Dragon Ball Z, and at the end of Dragon Ball Z, you don't see much of Piccolo at the end. But he shined the most during the Android arc and the Cell arc. That was pretty cool. But I think my favorite memory of Piccolo was when he was facing Frieza in Frieza's second form and taking him to town until Frieza got tired of him and went ahead and transformed to a third form and really took Piccolo to the woodshed. But I like how he got fused with Kami and he fused with Nail. I mean, that was really unique. But when he did fuse with Kami and Nail, it wasn't that major. It had no paradigm shift to the story. Like, oh, look at here, he has a big power up. Let's talk about it. Until we had the new Piccolo Orange. And the Orange Piccolo fixed Piccolo. I mean, he needed this transformation upgrade. And this is his first major upgrade. I'm not talking about the fusion with Kami and Nail like I just said earlier. But this was a true transformation for Piccolo for the first time. And we got to see it in the Cell Max movie and Gohan movie. It was really nice to see him in the mainstream get a lot more time in the spotlight. I think it was really refreshing to see Piccolo finally get what he deserves, a new transformation and a new upgrade, and not just being Gohan's teacher and being lost in the wind in the mist of like nowhere in the story of Dragon Ball. So it was really, really nice to see that. But beyond that, I don't think there's going to be a new transformation anytime soon for Piccolo. I mean, that's a sad truth. And I think he's going to get lost in the mist again. I mean, he got to have some moments that... But don't get me wrong, he does have his moments that are like, oh my god, what the heck? But most of them are bad lately. I mean, what I mean by lately, you know what I'm talking about, the chopsticks like I mentioned earlier. But you don't have that moment to have the shift in the story like, holy crap, this was huge. I don't think we're going to see that in a long time. Not yet, I don't believe, but it's going to be pretty much a while, or he is not thought of as a mainstream character no more. He's just compared to TN, and that's pretty sad to see in my opinion. I think he's a great character, one of my favorite characters of the Dragon Ball series. But let me say this, I think it'd be very interesting if he's booked any worse than he is now. That would be really devastating of a character and basically completely buried him in the WWE terms. He's getting buried, and that's what the writers did to Piccolo lately until this new transformation of Piccolo Orange. So it was really nice and refreshing. We hopefully in the future see a new Piccolo again after this transformation. But the only thing I complain about Orange Piccolo Orange, is he is actually orange. You would think he'll be a different color than orange. Very interesting why they chose that color. I always thought that if Piccolo always had a transformation, a new transformation, it would be like the classic Gatorade color of yellow / greenish. Some people call it yellow, other people call it greenish, but the classic Gatorade, I thought it would be his kind of color for a transformation. But for us Piccolo fans, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, because I think this movie of Gohan and Cell Max movie was the right direction from years past of terrible writing and being burying Piccolo, but finally returning to the right direction to stop the flames, putting out the flames of this dumpster fire.